Just a minute. All right. Welcome back, everyone. We are live from the L. Hervis Peak Transportation Center. And this is our last segment. The MATC Virtual Car Show for 2020 is going to be drawn to a close at 4 p.m. Central. We're here inside the Peak Transportation Center. I'm in front of the props. We do call it the Peak Transportation Center. So we have the repeating MATC and Peak thing. Peak's a big supporter of the school. And we also have our MATC car trailer out there with our Peak NASCAR that they were nice enough to give us and help us with the original wrap. And we've modified it a little bit to school. And we take that car around to students in high schools and career events and stuff so that we can talk about careers in automotive. And we're joined by Brian Bolander, who is the sports marketing director for, I think it's sports marketing director, you can correct that, for Peak, and Old World Industries, who is the parent company. And also our instructor, Scott Fissler, is out there somewhere with the car. He's waving there. There you go. He's got his pit crew shirt on. He actually, it's fun. We actually take this, Brian, I don't know if you've seen this, but we actually take that car around and occasionally we'll jack it up. And Scott, being a former ASA, something pit crew guy, knows how to do that. So we've got the special lugs and he teaches it. And we've had so much fun with it in high schools. And it's just great that Peak has been such a big supporter of ours and allowing us to do things like that, because the school certainly couldn't purchase a car like that. And we just really appreciate everything that you've done. And obviously, Mr. Hervis, the co-founder of Old World Industries and Peak, for helping us out with our Rev Up grant, which supports our students in so many ways and allows us to do fun things like this. Brian, what did you think when I called you, I don't know, it might have been a month ago, and said, we're canceling our live show? Do you remember how that went, that conversation?
Well, first of all, Steve, I'm going to say this. What a great afternoon for a car show, even though it's virtual. We're here in the Midwest, and weather couldn't be any better. Unfortunately, we can't all be together, but with electronics today, it makes it so much fun. So, yeah, let's step back. When we first talked about this, obviously we couldn't get everybody together, and that was kind of upset us. And we threw a bunch of ideas out, and we said, well, what if we did a parade? What if we got everybody together and we lined everybody up in parade? We could socially distance. We could lead with the trailer, with the car. You could be able to talk about the program, maybe have a police escort. Could be something nice just to kind of bring it back to the community. And I think we all stepped back and said, well, that's great, but that only covers a certain area of Milwaukee. And as we talked about this idea of a virtual car show, the best part about this is we've got entries from California. We've got entries from other states. You've got entries from I think you said Europe. You've got entries as well. So you can't do that if you're doing a parade around the block. That said, I mean, this couldn't have worked out any better. In 4 weeks, we got together every week and had conference calls and had some great help with some outside folks to be able to put together a website, the PR effort behind this, the ambassadors and celebrities. We were fortunate that we were able to get birthday boy himself. Today's Clint Boyer's birthday. I think you guys may know that. Able to get Clint to bring in his 49 lead sled. We had John Force bringing in the overhauling bus, which is really the first project that Peak did with John Force, as a matter of fact. In his original brute force car, we had Emily Reeves with her GTO that she took on Drag Week and some other projects that they've been working on as well. So it's been really great that we've been able to not only make this a local car show and event, but really take it to a national scope and bring in some great ambassadors who've been able to spread the word as well.
Well, I heard today, Brian, I don't know if you heard this, maybe I'm sure you did, but John did the video for us, and he did multiple videos for us. And the one that talked about go and vote on May 30th was picked up by NHRA, and they shared it with their, 600,000, I have no idea, 650 or whatever, lots of people. And so the website actually only slowed down a couple of times today with activity, but our normal car show, and we knocked it out of the park the very first year we did it. This would have been our third live show, but you go back to our first show, We had about 125 cars, somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe 150, I can't remember. Maybe 400 or 500 people came and visited at a barbecue truck. Last year we had hail twice and still had over 100 cars. And standing next to guys that were getting their cars hailed on was kind of freaky, but it turned out to be soft hail. So that was pretty good. And all I know is thousands of visitors since we started this. And I know just today, by midday, we had over 750 people coming out and voting. And I have no idea what it's going to turn out to be, but it started out as maybe we should do a parade. And now, like I said, I think we have 5 entries from Germany because we have a sister school, and I can't pronounce the name, but they were posting online in the middle of the night for us, and it's really turned out to be great. We just had a last segment with Ken Ligenfelder, and he's a big collector, and he said, "Hey, anything I can ever do for you guys." That's kind of the Tom Hervis way, and or I call it the Peak way. And our relationship with Peak at this college has just been tremendous over the last few years. And you're always, you're right there with me, and I appreciate your partnership. And you brought us Elin, who's been involved, and it's just, this thing has grown special. And I think it's a relationship that I can't imagine too many technical colleges around the country have, where we have the, we have the resources. And obviously Mr. Hervis has been very successful, but he's one of these people that wants to make a difference in people's lives. And the first time this whole grant came up, I was like, wow, that's interesting. I didn't know the magnitude of it and the number of lives that we could affect. Scott is out there at the Peak car. Why don't you say something, Scott, so we can see you?
You can see me okay? Can you see the car? Oops.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Good, Brian. How are you, buddy?
Fantastic.
This is just giving me goosebumps all day. This has just been awesome.
And Scott and Dan Young, we have to have a shout out for Dan Young. He's our instructor, one of our automotive instructors, and we call him the chief executive, grand poobah of the car show. He drives in. He's a young guy. I mean, he's not a single. He's years from gray hair on that guy, and he pulls up in his '57 Chevy today, parked it right by our car, and we got a Milwaukee Police Department going by. That's nice.
Yeah.
Make sure that that we're all doing well here at MATC. So we'll let them get through there. There we go. And we're just really appreciative of the support, Brian. And I can't thank you enough for all the other people you brought in. I mean, if you recall, I don't know if people have seen this lately, but let me just lift my computer up here and show you the ceiling.
Ah, yes, John's body from a couple years back. Isn't that fantastic?
How
many community colleges have that hanging up in their auto department, in their auto shop?
I'll never forget the day that Scott and I took our trailer down to pick that up. And we're driving down there, and it's a little bit surreal. And we're like, we're going down to pick up John Force's funny car body. And they were so nice to us, all the folks that were there. And we hauled it in and brought it back here. And then when we were building this building that opened up last October, we okay, we got to hang that thing from the ceiling. And we're like, oh my gosh, but it was so cool because John Force's team knew what we were doing, and they reinforced it with rails and everything we had. And it was a little scary. It was like I checked out a carbon fiber and fiberglass funny car body worth a whole lot more than I could afford if I broke it. So it was pretty fun to watch that thing go up there, and it's got Peak's name on it, and John Force, obviously, and 2 of our largest supporters at the school. So, thanks a lot. And the show has just been fantastic. So, I can't thank you enough. And you know what? You got some crazy things behind you, Brian. What do you got behind you? I see a Wally on your shoulder, and I know that you're a racer.
I got all kinds of crazy stuff behind. I guess before we go down that road, I just want to say on behalf of Peak, I think you alluded to it earlier, the Hervis family and them being involved. For those of you that don't know, Tom's father, Mr. Hervis, who's one of our co-owners, was actually very heavily involved in your community in Milwaukee. His father was very involved in the automotive dealer network and really had a legacy of mentoring. And Tom has brought that to OWI, our parent company, and brought that to the Peak family. And for us to be involved and to be able to give back not only the community where it all started for him, but really for the automotive industry in general. Steve, you mentioned about the trophies and things behind me. I personally race, but I also do as much as I can to advocate within the industry as well, not only for Peak, but just because we need to keep this industry going. We keep talking about automotive technicians and not mechanics, right? And through the committees, I'm actually on a task force with SEMA for the motorsports segment as well. We're all just trying to get young folks involved in the industry and try and keep this thing going. So whether that's through racing, whether that's through automotive maintenance, or just the weekend warrior enthusiasts, from Peak standpoint, our customer is the everyday hero, right? They're the ones that are in their garage that have to work on the vehicle because for them, it saves them some money. They feel the reward of actually doing the activities themselves. So with that said, our products are really geared towards that do-it-yourselfer. And what you guys are teaching is you're teaching that do-it-for-me guy, which there's still a huge audience for that as well and a huge market for that. And for Peak, the more people we get involved in the industry, the more sustainable this industry is. Vehicles aren't going away, whether they eventually start to go to electrification. It's just a different skill set that's needed to be able to train them and do that all the way up the motorsports part, which I know you guys have CDL training. And, in our world of motorsports, you got anything from drivers with CDLs to ASE certifications, because the guys who work on the cars are driving the semis to get the cars to the racetrack and are working in hospitality, and the chefs they're cooking for the teams. You look at an organization like John Force with 4 different cars and guests. I mean, we can have 1,000 people between the 100 people that John Force brings to the racetrack to run his race cars, to the hospitality and everything in between. So, it's important. What you guys do is extremely important, and it's great that at this level that we're involved in it, we can spread this message not only locally, but then take it national as well. So thank you guys for what you're doing, and it's great to be part of it. And you and I, Steve and Scott, we've worked together now for about 3 or 4 years on this, just starting with little things to bring in drivers up for appearances, to the launch of the Hervis facility, the show car program, and now this. I mean, how great is this? I mean, there's other companies that have actually talked to all of us about, wow, how did you do this? And want to know about this. Hopefully we're trendsetters now for the industry, and this helps gain more awareness and gets more people in the industry.
Well, that's well said, and it's probably a good place to end it, but I just want to thank you again, Brian. And Scott out there, let's do a cameo to Scott. Turn on your microphone so we can see you, Scott. And you know what? Scott created a program. I remember when we were sitting down trying to build this thing, and we were given the task of trying to build a program that would help our students graduate and retain as many students as we can to graduate, and then help them land jobs. And Scott came up with what we call the Peak Hot Rod Crew. And in the spirit of Peak and the Hervis family and mentoring, the reason why this building is called the Al Hervis Peak Transportation Center is Al Hervis helped mentor many of the dealers that are still around today in the Milwaukee area. But mentoring, and the Hot Rod Crew does it great. They have, the people in the industry, I've said it multiple times today, people in the automotive industry give back. And we have all these people wanting to come and be involved. And that happens in our Peak Hot Rod Crew. And during the Peak Hot Rod Crew sessions, we have folks coming that aren't just coming there looking for students to hire, they're just coming there to help. We have a lot of people that are just trying to be mentors for our students because they know that those are the future people that are going to keep our industry going. So thank you for all that you do, Scott.
Yes, no problem. And it's, me and the other instructors at South, you bet. We all pitch in.
And everywhere. We have programs at now all 3 campuses. And we're super fortunate to have, if you haven't seen it yet, go back and look at the first video of the Al Hervis Peak Transportation Center. It gives you a virtual tour that we did earlier this morning. So again, with that, I thank both of you, but also we still have a little bit of time. The show runs through till 4 o'clock. And at 4 o'clock, the voting ends. And we will leave the photos and videos up for a while. We will tabulate who's the winners in all 20 categories. We will announce the winners live probably at 5 something, 5 o'clock hopefully. And then also announce the winners of our random drawers. And it'd be remiss if I didn't say that Peak has donated some prizes. West Bend Dyno, our friend Brad, who's a great guy up at West Bend Dyno Tuning. He's an amazing guy. He's donated us some prizes too. And we're actually decided for all you that have a car entered, a vehicle entered, motorcycle entered, I decided we were going to do some T-shirts, and we're going to make it fun. And we're going to do a 2020 MATC Campus Car Show T-shirt that's going to have virtual splash, that you attended a virtual car show.
Cool.
We're also going to get dash plaques for everybody that was involved. That'll have the virtual dash plaque for the commemorating this year. And hopefully next year, this same weekend, we will be going live so that you can bring your car down. But we've also made the decision that since we have so many people from out of the area, we're going to go and also continue the virtual show next year so that we will have both the virtual and live show going on at the same time, be able to do some special features. The only thing that the live is going to get you over that is great food. So thank everybody. Thank you guys for helping us out with this. It's been just amazing. And I'm going to get back on and look at all the videos and try to get in there and vote, because I haven't voted yet today. I'm going to do that. So we got till 4 o'clock and to finish voting. And thanks to everybody who has attended the show, because all you had to do was attend from wherever you are, on your phone, your living room, anywhere. So thank you very much, everyone.
Great.
Have a good day.
Be
well.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Steve. Thank you, everybody that's watching. Your support means a lot.
And like you said, Steve, there's still time to vote, everybody.
Vote, vote.